One of the rules in ER diagrams is that relationship sets connect up entity sets. They do not connect up other relationship sets. So you can't have a relation between a relation and something else. But sometimes that's kind of what you want. And so to enable that, what we have is a concept in ER diagrams called aggregation. And this is different from the group by kind of aggregation we saw in SQL. It actually is not connected. It's a different concept. The idea is that you can take a subgraph of entities and relationships, like projects that are sponsoring departments, and you can put a dotted box around it. And that dotted box is called an aggregation. And it's effectively an encapsulated entity set. So all the things down in there can be thought of as joined together into a single entity set. And then this monitor's relationship set can connect that aggregated entity set to another entity set. So what is this actually saying in this ER diagram? It's saying that employees monitor the fact that a department sponsored a project. And that monitor can monitor it until some certain date. And that date can be different than the date that the sponsorship relationship had between the project and the department. Okay? And so this is just a simple example of a case where we want to encapsulate up some subset of the graph, turn it into a big entity set, and allow it to participate in relationship sets. Again, this adds more complexity in design. So we have to decide sometimes whether we want an aggregation, like the one we saw in the previous slide, or whether we want some ternary relationship set that connects up the multiple entity sets in the picture. So on the lower left, we have all the attributes and entity sets that we had on the upper right. The only real change is that where we used to have two relationship sets with two separate attributes, we now have one relationship set with two attributes, until and since. And this couples until and since together. So for example, on the upper right, if we change the employee who's monitoring the sponsorship, we update just the until of that employee, right? And we start with a new monitor for the sponsorship. On the lower left, if we change the employee monitoring the sponsorship, we're actually also changing the time frame that the sponsorship has been kept since. And so we have to be very careful in that example to copy the old value of since to the new value of that relationship that contains the new until. Right? So until and since have to be recorded together. If you change just one of them, you have to update the other by copying from the past. Okay? In the upper right, until can be changed because we can introduce a new monitor without changing since. On the lower left, until can't be changed without changing since. In sum, there isn't a single answer for how to get these things right. You sort of have to look at the information as well as how the information might change over time to decide which things should go together in a shared relationship set and which things should be separated out, possibly via aggregation, to let two different relationships thrive on their own.